Yes, any day the APC decides that terrorism will be stopped in Nigeria, I mean, we are going to see the end of this menace. The APC is not serious in fighting terrorism. Because tell me why Bello Metawalle, the former governor of Zamfara State, has been dragged, you know, for having links with these terrorists. And still, the Tinubu's government is still keeping him in power. Now, take a look at these headlines. One of the terrorist leaders came out, you know, in a current trending video saying that he actually met with the former governor. And this headline by Sahara Reporter says, notorious bandit leader Bello Tuji admits meeting Zamfara ex-governor Metawalle. Others call for their arrest. Hey, the terror guys are now the one asking for their arrest. And now this one is coming from the north. Northern Coalition condemns links between Defense Minister Metawalle, bandit leaders in Zamfara, call for National Assembly probe. We must say a very big kudos to this Northern Coalition, because I don't think we need to see seeing them being silent in the midst of all this terrorism ravaging Nigeria. So the Northern Coalition is now the one calling for probe by the National Assembly. I hope Akpabio is not going to sweep this one under the carpet, because it has to do with an APC member, because all they are thinking about is 2027 and not how Nigerians can really celebrate their Christmas in peace. Now, this headline here also say that notorious bandit leader Bello Tuji admits meeting Zamfara ex-governor Metawalle. So guys, a whole lot is happening. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at these videos just for you to know that, see, any day the APC decides that we are going to see the end of this terrorism in Nigeria, I tell you it's going to end, because guess what? They were the ones that imported these guys from other countries to Nigeria, into Nigeria for election purposes. After election, they abandoned them unattended to, and they refused. Though these guys refused to go back to where they were coming from. Today, see how they are terrorizing Nigeria. And a minister has been pointed at all this while Tinubu is just silent. And now, I mean, there is a lot of outreach on the social media that the Tinubu's government must sack Bello Metawalle. I want you to take your time and really watch this video just for you to see what's happening in Nigeria and how the APC is really playing with the lives of people. Because tell me how this allegation has been going on for all this while and the APC is silent. People are saying that this man cannot be entrusted with classified documents and information of the Nigerian people. Somebody who has links with terrorists. Take your time, watch these videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you. Now take a look.
Allah, if Metawalle did not leave that position as the State Minister of Defense, that is to say, Tinubu is also part of the factors, the elements that is promoting and encouraging banditry in Nigeria. Let me say again, if this man did not leave that seat, I am telling you, that is to say, Tinubu is the #1 person encouraging banditry in Nigeria. Because I'm wondering why this person, with all this, is not even no more an allegation now. In short, Sheikh Murtala started. Now, his special assistant is even coming out with evidence of how he has bought cars, how he has actually pampered these bandits. And at the end of the day, you still have a government allowing this kind of person to remain in government? What? Well, the fact is, well, I want everybody to know, and the international community to be aware as well, that this man should not be trusted with classified security informations as far as Nigeria is concerned, because he has a heavy allegation that linked him to all this banditry and terrorism everywhere. So why should it be? And in the spirit of, if you think it's a fight to just kick out a northerner, bring another same northerner and a Muslim, and at the same time, nobody has a problem with that. But why should this person, with so much in his hands, still remains and be privileged to highly classified security informations in the country? For God's sake.
Nigerians! So this is the biggest trending story right now on the internet. The biggest trending story right now. I tell you for free. If Nigeria is a working country, this man here, Bello Metawalle, would have been arrested and investigated. But trust me, they want to sweep it under the carpet again, but we will not allow them. Now, this video, Nigerians, do well to share it. This is the first time I'll be begging you to share it. We need to have at least 10,000 shares in this video. 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares. Enough is enough. Arewa, this is an eye-opener. Enough is enough. At least 10,000 shares in this video. Now, this man here, this man in this video, his name is Musa Kamarawa. Although he did this video in Hausa, but I'll try my possible best to translate to English before I allow you to watch the video. He is the former SSA to Bello Matawalle when Bello Matawalle was the governor of Zamfara State. Remember that Bello Matawalle is now the current Minister of State of Defense in Nigeria. So this man came out to do this video after he saw a petition filed against Sheikh Asada. Sheikh Asada came out to accuse Bello Matawalle of buying cars for bandits. Sheikh Asada, he said Bello Matawalle bought cars for bandits. That is very sure. Now, after the video went viral, Bello Matawalle filed a petition against Sheikh Asada. After this man now, this Musa Kamarawa saw that petition in which Bello Matawalle filed against Sheikh Asada. He now came out to say, what the hell? Like, Bello Matawalle filed the petition as if what that Sheikh is saying is not true. That everything that Sheikh Asada said in that video is truth. That Bello Matawalle bought car for Ado Alero. He bought car for Kashala. He bought car for Bello Tuji. That he swear with his Quran. He swear with his Quran that this allegation against Bello Matawalle is truth. This is the video here. Not just that, though. He even said Bello Matawalle built a house for Bello Tuji. That he personally, he was one of the engineers that started the building in the site. That he was one among the engineers that supervised the building of that house for Bello Tuji. Hey! Hey! He didn't even stop there. He went further to say that Bello Matawalle distributed 2,000 bags of rice to these bandits in the bush. Ado Alero, Kashala, Bello Tuji. That money was sent to his account. 42 million naira. He came, see what he came out with. He even came out with his bank statement. Nigerians, if this accusation, if Nigeria is a working country, if this country is a working country, Bello Matawalle will be arrested by now.
Assalamu alaikum. Where school children were abducted, and then the governor of the state is telling the president that few hours to when the children were abducted, somebody gave orders to withdraw security from that place, and they want to know who gave the orders. Until date, the president and commander-in-chief is not able to know who ordered troops out of the government secondary school in Kebbi State, or in places like Katsina, where security and insecurity officials are holding peace deals, and the terms of those meetings are being put together by the bandits. In fact, in Katsina, according to the report, one of the bandit leader, Jankari, instructed that the peace deal, the police officers who are coming should not come in uniform, should come in mufti. But guess what? The bandit leader came in the uniform of a slain police officer, ACP Dayi Aminu, to that so-called peace deal. That is where they are having stakeholder meetings. So those are the good things that are happening under the APC government. But let us not be fooled. The same issue that is happening, because everybody continues to say PDP, PDP. What exactly is going on in the PDP? What is the role of the serving minister for FCT in the PDP? What are the issues between the FCT minister and the Rivers State governor? So the former governor and the incumbent governor had issues, and instead of prevailing upon your subject, President Tinubu decided to illegitimately suspend an elected governor, declaring a state of emergencies for so-called reasons of insecurity. But somehow, more than 300 children were kidnapped from Niger State, and it has not been able to be a reason for why there should be a state of emergency. For in Katsina State, continuous banditry attacks and killings. And even I think my colleague is from Benue State, where more than 200 persons were slaughtered in Yelwata. The president visited it and could not visit the host community or the ground zero of the incident because the roads to that place were not good. This is the unfortunate leadership and the shameful kind of conduct that we glorify as leadership, and that is why why everybody is moving to the center. What exactly is at the center? A center of terrorism, of banditry, of a failed economy, of active politics, even when people are being killed. That is why the president can order troops to so-called defend democracy and constitutional authority in Benin Republic when terrorists are running rogue in his own country without the approval of the National Assembly. So as it is today, it is all politics. We understand the game of the APC to ensure, and that is why even the former chairman Oshomole said, when you come to our party, I mean, your sins are forgiven. What are the legal cases or graft cases of all governors or politicians who were in the opposition? What happened to them when they came to the ruling party? If we say this is not without any pressure.
Let me quickly throw a question at you now you're discussing. With high-profile defections reshaping the party landscapes, what effect could this have on the 2027 elections? And how might it influence voters' choices and democratic accountability?
It is simple. What the APC or the ruling party is trying to do is to create an imaginary victory before the elections happen. What will rig or what will make the 2027 elections be rigged was not because anybody was too powerful or they were too popular. It was because Nigerians had the cynicism of believing that the elections will never be free and fair. So a lot of Nigerians have given up on 2027 even before it will come. And then when you have political strongmen like governors of the state who have overwhelming influence on institutions, on the architecture of the electoral process and also security agencies, it becomes even more dire for the people. But all hope is not lost, because when it comes to elections, when multitude of people come out to vote and insist that their votes must count, it is almost impossible to rig through a determined people. The 2023 election results are clear for everybody to see. President Tinubu lost his home state of Lagos, lost Kanu, the highest voting bloc. The shenanigans that happened in Rivers State, lost Abuja, but somehow won the presidency. So the template has already been set and is only to be consolidated on.
Okay, let me get back to Dr. Dominic in the house, then we'll close with Napoleon. So, Dr. Dominic, let me ask you, for governors still in their first term and remaining in PDP, how strong is the pressure to defect, and what are the political risks if they resist? I'm talking about the remaining governors, the remaining PDP governors.
Like I told you, the political risks if they resist, or I mean, what do you mean by if they resist? Nobody is insisting that they must defect, but the situation.
No, there might be some pressure. They might feel the pressure.
Pushing them.
They might feel the pressure.
No, I don't. Hold on. I don't think there is any pressure from any quarter. But what I'm telling you is the true reality. That look, the way PDP is today, as it is, it has been battered and factionalized. They cannot be able to field any candidate in 2027 because there will not be any chairman to sign their nomination form. If Simon Itrafiki sign a form, the wicked faction will also sign a form. And which one will INEC honor? It will result to court cases. So for them not to lose their mandate, they are defecting to the PDP now, to the APC.
It boils down to my question about pressure.
In January, Caleb of Taraba State will be defecting. Mufwang of Plateau is on the way to APC. What would you see now? Again, this brings to question the leadership capability or credibility of opposition political leaders. I told you, I am a strong believer of viral oppositions. In 1999, I joined the AD, Action Alliance, AD. In 2003, I joined the APP. We navigated to CPC, and today we are in the APC. Why? Because I believe in the role of the opposition to advance governance in this country. Today we are beginning to have what you call one-party system or one-party state, and you want to blame the president. No, I'm blaming the opposition leaders, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Peter Obi, and the rest of them. Those are the kind of people, those are the opposition leaders leaders I am blaming, because they have failed in their responsibility to put the opposition party together. You know, they have failed in their responsibility to provide leadership for opposition party. Go to any country of the world where there is viral opposition, you cannot make but mention the opposition political leaders in those countries that are making things happen for the opposition political parties. And the president rightly said, and I agree with him, in June when he made a statement in the National Assembly, that you cannot, you know, shut the door against people that are coming on into the party, because it will amount to, you know, political malpractice. So you don't blame the president because, you know, people are jumping ship from the sinking ship to the APC ship, which is sailing to,
thank you so much,
perhaps El Dorado.
Please, we are pressed for time. I want to ask Mr. Napoleon one last question. Now, with this trend that is going on now, how can we guarantee the protection of the democratic protection for citizens when come 2027? How can we guarantee that their votes will count? Very briefly, please.
2027 is as safe as 2023. Just like the activists in the studio said, that our President Ahmed Bola Tinubu lost his home state, Lagos. That shows the level of his fairness. If he had wanted to rig the election, he would have started from Lagos. Charity begins from home. So also evil should also begin from home. If Tinubu had wanted to rig 2023 election, the rigging would have started from Lagos, his home state. So but because he wanted to be fair and good, he lost in Lagos and he acknowledged the loss.
Okay, would you comfortably say that?
The second point I also want us to make, please, we are putting too much emphasis on the governors.
Okay.
The governors are not more powerful than the people. They are not.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The governor is just one person.
Okay.
If the people want free and fair election, they will get it. Okay. Irrespective of what a single man calls.
So you're saying 2023 was no.
Experience the fears of the election.
Can I close with you saying
election devoid of
the first question will be, what constitutional law or what law establishes the office of the First Lady? The governor was the chief host of that event. He is in his state. He has his pattern of communicating with his people. Do we agree or we may not agree? It's a different conversation. But two things stand out for me. What was the need for that event? It goes to show you that it was the 10-year coronation of the leader, and we are in this period where more than 100 of our children from Niger State are still with terrorists, and the NSA said they are being well taken care of. So in Nigeria, leaders can feast even when the people are being slain to death.
So you reckon that the convention itself was insensitive?
I mean, you could have scaled it down. It were possible that leaders will look at the, tempo in the country and say, look, for some time, let us also go with the mood of the people. But then again, we went into festivities and feasting, and then the First Lady would decide to do it. But for the First Lady, I think that she's consistent with her actions. Remember the Senate hearing, committee hearing on the questioning of Senator Elisha Abo when she was in the National Assembly. She was telling the then senator that he should put off his mic, and also that they had the capacity to suspend. She will have to be prevailed upon by the senator seated next to her, Senator Samigu, and the other senator. So, I mean, if there is a track record of telling people to turn off their mics for her own to come up. And then you can also remember the case of Senator Smart Adeyemi speaking about insecurity, and the wife of the president says that, are you a wolf in sheep clothing, trying to send a message that, they were in one party, and probably that should not be the communication. So, it begs the question, what exactly do we stand for as a people? And then again, that the wife of the president is supposed to be a pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And there you had the governor singing a song that is Christian and praising God, and she had an issue with it. Maybe he would have sang at Now Mama Be That, they no get another one. Maybe that would have worked.
But do you think that she was also conscious of timing, and that was probably why she came across as a bit harsh?
Timing. I mean, she could have, an aide could have said that. What was the time she used with all of the protocol that they came, and every of the other issues or persons that were spoken to or spoke at that event? It was the time of the governor allocated to him as the chief host. He will connect with his people and pass his message. And when you see people show that level of power or without restraint, it goes to tell you a deeper picture between the governor and the First Lady. The governor was speaking. It was his time. and then the first lady saw that or felt that it was imperative for her to leave her seat and prevail on him.
But do you think there was also familiarity between them, and for her, she didn't think that she was stepping or crossing the boundaries because this was a person that she is quite familiar with?
Okay, if it was familiarity, maybe when they have a family meeting or a meeting amongst peers, then that can come to play. But when you have a function where there is media, where there are people and there is protocol, I think that it is more important the way leaders conduct themselves because they know that persons are watching, and it sets the tone for how persons take leadership in public office seriously. When a governor is speaking or when any leader at all is speaking, everyone will accord them the respect. If you know that you had a way or manner, a template with which you wanted the event to play out, it could have been discussed before that, not at that point. So across board, I think it's just a tale of recklessness. It's just the level of, you know, lack of decorum and ethics that come with public office in Nigeria, that anybody can do anything, anybody can. You remember the case of the hearing even at the Senate at some point, Honorable Minister, off your mic. So this thing is across board. The question is, for how long will Nigeria continue with this pattern of leadership until they know that this is an affliction to be liberated from?
Okay, thank you so much for that. Can we have Dominic in the house, please? Okay, Dominic, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, I'm here.
Welcome to Perspectives. Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask you. You just heard
Thank you.
what Peter Aka just said so adamantly. So I want to ask you, when a non-elected figure publicly intervenes with an elected governor, what does this tell us about power dynamics and the limits of influence in Nigeria's political system?
All right, thank you so very much. Let me start by saying that whatever I'm going to say here, I'm not going to, I'm not trying to justify the action of the First Lady, in that very occasion. But my understanding of that particular program, the 10th year coronation, either adversary or whatever, and then in that program also is slotted an award or a chieftaincy title conferment on the First Lady. So the way I look at it, I see it as, partly her program. And like you rightly said, something would have informed that familiarity. She is familiar with the governor. I believe they are also family friends and stuff like that. That was why she could, intervene, perhaps to draw his attention to the fact that time is going, because you know that when personalities like this gather, there are a lot of programs that is scheduled for them to attend, for them to carry out and stuff like that. But then I believe that there was a breach of protocol there, which for me, it is not proper. She couldn't have, she shouldn't have, interrupted, the governor, or she would have scribbled a note to him, in a very polite way to draw his attention to the fact that time is going. But again, let's not, throw away the baby with the dirty water, because the office of the First Lady, you are very much aware, they have been very, very, instrumental and, engaging in terms of certain empowerment, for example, certain empowerment and interventions for women way back from the time of the wife of the late wife of the wife of the former military president Ibrahim Babangida, down to Abacha, down to Olusegun Obasanjo, to Yar'Adua, and to Jonathan, and most recently to President Muhammadu Buhari. There has been a lot of intervention that office has been able, to provide to Nigerian women by way of providing succor to them. The national hospital we have today is as a result of the initiative of either the wife of the First Lady, the wife of the Babangida or Abacha, that it came about. And we, subsequently we see a lot of intervention coming from, that office, even though it is not an elective office, it is not constitutional. But then I believe that we should not just throw, that away with the bathing water because of, the overriding influence that some of. Look, let me tell you. You see, I agree with with Peter Oka that there is need for Nigerians to rise in order to begin to interrogate our leaders. The truth of the matter is that we have not come to a situation where democracy will be practiced in Nigeria. What we have today in Nigeria is a state-captured kind of democracy. When you go to the local government, see the attitude of our local government chairman. When you go to the senatorial or House of Representative constituency, look at their attitude. Come to the state governors, I mean, it's even unbearing. So what I am saying is that there is need for us Nigerians to begin to interrogate the leadership, their attitude, their influence over and above, institution and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to justify her action. I'm not trying to say she was right, but the truth of the matter is that there is this kind of familiarity that, she deployed into it, which couldn't have. She would have scribbled a note, to pass across to him to draw his attention if time was not, if he was consuming too much of the time.
Okay, let me get back to Peter on this. Peter, the First Lady said critics in her response to the incident. Rather than an apology, this was her response. She said critics scrutinize every step, amplify minor steps, and turn them into needless controversy. Do you understand? So how does this response reflect concerning the APC party and its approach in dealing with opposition parties? What's your take on that?
A total disconnect from the reality on ground of the people. And it is unfortunate that we are in a country where we can attribute national development or things that should be taken care of by government that are elected to being pet projects of offices that are not elected. The wife of the president is not a legally recognized office, but the current wife of the president, they have been moving around the country with a so-called renewed hope project. That was what went to Delta. All of these events and issues have an opaque kind of budgetary system. Nobody knows what is exactly financing this. Remember that the wife of the president had at some point visited Obafemi Awolowo University and donated from herself 1 billion to that institution. The wife of the president. Imagine the wife of the US president donating $1 billion to any school. From what business, from what profit? So when we see things like this, it is important that we call to question. And then you look at the budget, where the budget is saying that let us budget 1.5 billion for purchase of SUVs for the office of the First Lady. Do not forget that the First Lady and the husband are former governors and First Lady of a state, living on a Lagos state pension that includes overseas medical treatment for unspecified number of family members. So Nigeria is the gift that continues giving. So the leaders do not make sacrifices, but they compound the situation or make an already bad situation even more complex. If the First Lady truly shows empathy, let us remember the time under the former President Jonathan when Chibok girls were abducted. A lot of Nigerians berated the former First Lady Patience Jonathan, but she cried out. She said, now the First Lady is begging you to find your children. Will you keep quiet? It showed empathy. Since children have been taken from Kebbi, people were killed in Kwara, the children were taken from Niger. What statement or what event has the First Lady held through the same Renewed Hope initiative to work and cooperate with the office of the husband to help to rescue the children? So is everything in Nigeria about politics? Is it always about optics? How it reflects to our being re-elected or how it keeps or hold us to power? I think that as a people, Nigeria must know that it is important to hold public office holders to the highest ethical standard. And when Nigerians do so, they should not pass a subtle message undermining the grievances of Nigerians at their conducts.
Okay. It's interesting that you said that, but let's even go back to the incident itself. Governor Adeleke was quite relatively calm. So do you think his calmness was fear of provoking the opposition party or stepping on the toes stepping on the toes of the First Lady and also by extension APC? Why do you think his composure was the way it was?
I mean, there could be many factors that played into how the governor decided to handle it. And this is not to say we are completely giving a pass to however the governor decides to interact with his people. One of the problems with our country is that even though we constitutionally are supposed to be a secular state, there is a mix of religion and politics, so we do not know how to differentiate the two. So even in a political or an official event, we want to sing praises to God, and it depends on everybody's, belief and religion, and how the governor, relates with and interacts with his people. But then again, it begs the question, could there also be political undertone in the decision of how they decided to, relate with themselves, or how the first lady? Remember that the governor of Osun State recently defected to the Accord party.
Yeah.
There had been pressures. He was in the PDP. The PDP have decided, is in splinter right now, partly because somebody who is serving in the cabinet of the current president as a minister is also in the PDP. So there are factions there, and it has made it almost not a viable vehicle for the governor to, pursue his ambition, and has ported to another party. And therefore, it is possible that whatever that could be the political undertones to it. So I think that there will be a lot of calculations going on in the mind of the governor, but by and large, it was important that one person should show decorum. If everybody begins to, I would imagine him responding to say, I would not turn off the mic, or it would have become an exchange between the wife of the president and the governor.
So one person had to rise above.
One person had to rise above and become the bigger person. And if the governor is, so be it. The important thing is that Nigerians must not just pay attention to events like this. We must draw it to the general conduct of public office holders whose lives are being run with taxpayer money. There is an expectation that you must live up to, and that must be drawn to the quality of life and governance that they give to the people.
Okay, good. It's good that you said that. Can we have Napoleon? I hear Napoleon is in the house now. Can we have him, please? Okay, Napoleon, welcome to.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Welcome to Perspective. You missed a bit of the conversation, but you can please catch up. Now, let me ask you, concerning this incident that happened between the First Lady and Governor Adeleke, some argue that political affiliation, region, or even religious undertones may have influenced the First Lady's response. Would her reaction have been different if they were from the same party? Also, could Governor Adeleke's defection to the Accord party instead of joining APC have shaped the tone of her response?
Absolutely. Not what your interpretation is. It is about the protocol. The woman in question is not just Remi Tinubu. She represented and still represents the first family. So wherever she goes on official duties, it is expected that the highest protocol and decorum be accorded to her as a member of the first family. If you watch the clip very well, with an unbiased mindset, you would discover that the governor, with due respect, the governor of Osun State, abused the protocol. That function was not a special number function wherein an individual will be expected to sing praises. But the governor of Osun State, being who he is, he abused that protocol. He threw caution to the world. The first family, you would know, is a very busy person. I am sure there were other series of engagements booked in for that day. Being a governor, you should be familiar with the timing and the scheduling. When it is time to dance, you dance. And when it is time for a serious business, you do a serious business and leave the stage. We should not read all manner of meanings into what transpired.
Yeah, but some would argue.
There should be a time for dancing and a time for serious business. Yeah, that was what the First Lady was trying to pass across to the governor. This time is not a time for singing. It's not a time for trivialities.
Listen, Mr.
It's a time for us to dwell on why we are here. Please conclude the business and leave the stage.
Yeah, but Mr. Napoleon, some would argue.
That is the message.
Some would argue that her approach was wrong. Even if what she meant or what she was trying to achieve or the goal she was trying to achieve was right, her approach was wrong. That is what caused this controversy in the first place. Her her approach was wrong. And this is why one cannot but ask the question I asked you, which you haven't quite answered. If he was a member of her party, would she have been that aggressive? If Dr. Adeleke was a member of her party, would she have been that aggressive with him? It's the aggression in her approach.
The actions that happen has nothing to do with the political affiliation. Whether Adeleke is a member of APP, APC, or Accord, or whatever it is, the central message should not be lost on us.
Okay, well,
as a governor, you listen to the message, and the message must not come from the lips alone. Before the first lady stood up from her seat, her body language suggested that her time was unduly being wasted. You could see the facial expression. If the governor was truly a man of protocol, he should be able to read the body language of the first lady, her facial expression, to say, oh, come on, governor, you are deviating.
well,
You are wasting a lot of time.
This is a goal.
You are trivializing the essence of the function.
Where was she in a hurry to? What have they achieved in the past 2 years
It was
plus?
when the governor refused to pick the message
But somebody
that she has
Peter just
to
asked
intervene personally.
Peter just asked you a question. So let Peter just ask you a question, and if you can quickly answer that before we round up.
Because I think it's unfortunate that we are talking about the first lady representing the first family and all of the issues that are going on. She was in a state for an event. If you knew that you had other functions, and then again they have been busy for 2 years going to 3 years, and the only thing that Nigeria has benefited from this administration is increase in insecurity, battered economy, taxation left, right, and center, and all of the misgovernance and bad governance. So at a point where you are invited to event to take your whatever chieftaincy title, because for Nigerian leaders everything has to be politics, was it necessary that even if a message was to be sent to the governor, being the chief executive of the state, there should be a certain level of decorum that the wife of the president should understand that should be accorded to the office of the governor? Imagine a first lady of a different country doing that to the husband if he travels to a different country and is giving a statement, the wife of another president. Would the first lady who did that to Governor Adeleke, if they were in the same party as you asked, or if it were probably, let's say, a northern governor, would this same action or the same approach be also implemented for that kind of person? Let us not justify what is injustifiable. The conduct was wrong. They can do better, but it goes beyond the first lady. It goes to all leaders.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to a break right now, then we'll get on to our second topic. Welcome back to Perspectives on Arise News. So for our second segment, we are going to discuss the defection of the governor of Rivers State. Governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, this week defected to All Progressive Congress after many months of internal party squabbles within the People's Democratic Party.
So guys, let me take you through some of the reactions on the social media. There is this video of the EFCC chairman when he was saying he's going to deal with the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello. That video has resurfaced amid Ngige being sent to jail and a whole lot of bad booze. Nigerians have been reacting because he spoke and people thought, oh, this man was actually going to do something, but you can see he did nothing. And there's another headline here that says U.S. Black Hawk engaging ISWAP near Lake Chad. The U.S. is on fire against Islamists, and we just hope that this country, Nigeria, returns back to what it's supposed to be, because a whole lot is happening. I mean, a whole lot is happening in Nigeria as regards to terrorism. Islam is really putting everybody on his or her toe. Look at what happened today in Australia. Attack on the Jewish community by Muslim terrorists. And then I think in Syria, some American military men were also pied, and all over the places. You don't even talk about Nigeria because that's like their headquarters. Anyway, let me take you through some of this headline. This one's a breaking: bandits attack Ekwa Church in Kogi, kill one, abduct worshippers, So guys, they are really making going to church a very difficult task in Nigeria these days. And this one here says, ISWAP terrorists claim deadly ambush on Nigerian soldiers in Borno, key for injuries, 6 weapons, release shocking images. So ISWAP ambushed our officers, and by 4 of them, 6 were injured. Weapons seized, released. They released these images of the weapons they seized from the Nigerian army. So guys, a whole lot is happening, and the Tinubu's government say there is no Christian genocide, there is no Christian Muslim genocide, as if you admit to the USA that you need help, as if something wrong will happen. Now, this person say publish names of officials indicted in 6 trillion NDDC scandal as ordered by court. Sarah tells Tinubu Attorney General Fagbemi to release the names of people who have been stealing. So guys, this Tinubu's government is unbelievable. Tinubu is not even ready to fight corruption. All they know is to be borrowing more money. Now, this person yesterday, a shocking video surfaced from Kwara State showing arrested suspected bandits claiming that their AK-47 rifles, ammunition, and logistics were supplied by government officials. This grave allegation now going viral demand an immediate, transparent, and independent investigation. No excuse, no cover up. Nigerians, we can stay silent we cannot stay silent just because it's not happening to us or our loved ones right now. This is our collective security at stake. The suspects who made this open confession must be protected to fully name their alleged sponsors before facing, before facing justice. Enough is enough. Now let's see how. Okay, I wanted to see if there are some reactions coming from Nigerians. It's really so sad, that these bandits will come out to say, oh, they are being funded by the government, and people are just silent. Now, Fulani terrorists killed 4 children in Plateau community in reprisal attack over alleged cattle rustling. They said their cattle were stolen, and guess what? They quickly went and killed 4 people. And in Kaduna State, they amputated a 15-year-old's hand for refusing to marry some of the Fulani men. So guys, this I don't know the kind of religion these people are practicing. I'm just like, what is happening in our society today is so unbelievable. Here it says, you guys should stop this reprisal attack of a thing. There is genocide going on, ethnic cleansing by these Fulani militias going on in this Middle Belt region. You come online and post reprisal attack narrative. It's heartbreaking seeing this kind of narrative every day. And this person say, how do you do unarmed children rustle cattle from terrorists that can wage war against a small country? Nigerian journalists are very useless. And this other person here say, in a nation where the value of cattle surpasses human life, we've lost our way entirely. There is nothing left to celebrate, and I can no longer proudly declare myself Nigerian to the world. It's become too shameful. Islam again every day spreading their peaceful religion. How is this killing of children a reprisal attack? And this one here is a reprisal attack against children. What sort of atrocity headline is this? Cowards killing children, not again. So guys, this is heartbreaking when you consider what these Fulani headsmen do. And sometimes they will tell you that they did it because they know that nobody is going to hold them responsible. Can you imagine that your cows got rustled, maybe from your people, only for you to come out and say that you are going to, you went and killed children because maybe you felt your car was stolen. So this is the kind of thing we see in this country, Now, we know that recently the Sultan said Christians must not be subjected to Sharia law, Sultan of Sokoto. So people have been arguing. In the north, you have Sharia law. When it's Ramadan, they will shut down the whole school. Whether it's a Christian school, a private school, or public school, schools must shut down. It affects Christians. And other ceremony that, like when they are fasting, if you eat, they are ready to finish. You don't eat in public and all that. So Sharia is being imposed on Christians, which is not supposed to be PDP. And this person replied and said, citizens of a democratic country must not be subjected to Sharia law. But that's not the case in Nigeria. In Nigeria, Nigerians are being subjected to this law every now and again. So guys, a whole lot of reaction. Nigeria's constitution is a death sentence for Igbo. Indivisible clause is a fraud. So this person is saying that indivisible clause, that there's a place in the constitution they say that Nigeria cannot break up, you know. So there is a fraud for Ndi Igbo. So this other headline here say, we say no to burdening taxing on poor Nigerians. Netizens call on Tinubu government for accountability before taxation. So guys, we know that recently Tinubu signed, I don't know the kind of agreement they signed with France in order to collect this tax, and that also raised a lot of questions that Tinubu wants to share, you know, information, people's data with France. And here it says they killed 2 or 3 suspects by 4 a.m. daily. They will cover their body with sand. The place is an abattoir where humans are wasted. Mortuary attendant's son detailed how Tiger Base killed 2 or 3 suspects at 4 a.m. daily during his father's arrest. Can you imagine? Mortuary attendant's son is the one leaking this secret. So there is this other headline here, controversy as Tinubu's ADC Nuruddin Yusuf is promoted twice in 1 year. The military man that follows Tinubu anywhere he's going has been promoted twice. Let's see how Nigerians are reacting. This person saying he is not doing second term with him if he wins. Most of our army general has political and domestic experience, no battle experience, and that's why national security will always be a mirage. Some people can be so ignorant of the fact that another president can undo all they have done illegally. The fear of something can lead to promotion. Honestly, Tinubu is scared for himself. And this was the person way in Papa na gate man for heaven. No, they go, no, they enter hellfire. Abi Eli. Tinubu is ruling Nigeria like she is his family affair, and he knows nobody can challenge him. Then things say them they do Peter Obi. Ona never see anything. Okay, they thought they are doing it against Peter Obi. They are doing it against themselves. Just check his mood. He get waiting the guy sabi. It's not just promotion. He's shielding. He should be posted to replace the late Brigadier General Oba at the War Theatre in Borno immediately. So guys, Tinubu actually promoted this man to a brigadier general, and Nigerians are saying he should just go and replace the Uber that was, that was executed by these terrorists. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.